Good evening, everybody. Tonight, I'll be telling you a story from my homeland, Syria. As you may, or some of you may know, Syria celebrates a huge, rich, diverse culture of traditions, of crafts, especially in the built environment. And the story is not about Syria, it's whether about a Syrian. It's about my good friend Hosam. Hosam works as a truck driver and has a family of his wife and 3 beautiful baby girls. He lives in a place called Deir al-Bukht in the southern part of Syria, around 50 kilometers south of the city of Damascus. Now, the majority of these people, there are around 8,000 people there, the majority of them of low and poor income. Hosam had a dream. He actually had 2. All what he needed in his life is maybe someday God would bless him with a baby boy, and maybe he can have his own house. So being an architect, I decided to help him in his second dream. So we started by looking around, looking at what options that Hosam has, and these are the options that he has. Now, I'm not going to go into the problems that these people face in terms of sustainability, in terms of durability, not even beauty. I'm going to discuss one thing. It's economy. People cannot afford to build something like that. So what to do? What do they usually do? They go to the bank. So they take a debt, stay in debt for the next 25 years, paying back their debt with interest. Now, the problem is actually coming from a single commodity. This commodity is the imported steel that is heavily utilized in such structures, and it's actually 50% of the cost. So we decided to actually consider maybe taking a loan. So Hosam went to all kind of banks, private, governmental, and of course he was refused. He was actually financially incompetent. He was too poor to take a loan. So I told him, we're left with one only solution. We have to do this the traditional way. That's the only solution we have. Universal knowledge and local principles and local resources. So we started with the basic issue, the basic building block, the building material. We wanted to build a house using the readily available lava stone, one of the best building materials around the world, very strong, very durable, but we actually couldn't because people have abandoned their tradition. There are no more stonemasons, and even if we manage to find one, they're still so expensive to us. So we came up with a very simple solution. We took this lava stone, we crushed it, we mixed it up with some cement, some sand, we made some experiment, and we came up with a lava block, a block that is made of stone and cement. Now, the beauty of this block is that Hosam and his brothers actually made the material. It is made locally on the site, and it is the cheapest material out there in the market. And most importantly, we can build the entire structure without using any steel. So we simultaneously, of course, while we were doing some experiments with the material, we were doing the design. And to be able to design something, or a house, for such people, I actually had to live with them for 3 months. And I actually introduced the concept of the traditional Arab courtyard house, which has been working for ages in our region. So the design was carefully based on the social needs of this particular family. Of course, we had 2 courtyards, one in the summer, one in the winter, that worked perfectly during seasons. And also the design was carefully centralized according to the microclimate of the site. So we utilized the prevailing wind to introduce some cool breeze during the summer and to introduce some direct sunlight during winter. Moving on, we decided to go into the most difficult part of our journey, the construction part. So I gathered Osama. I gathered his relatives, his uncles, his cousins, and so on. And we gathered ourselves. We started laying the foundation. And of course, we used the raw condition of the stone we had on site to lay the foundation. Then we actually started using the blocks that we made to build the walls. In that particular stage, people have actually realized that they do not understand exactly what is this going to look like. But they strongly believed in it because they had all their hands into it. They loved it. They were happy doing it. So we moved on into the most challenging aspect of any structure, the ceiling problem, the most expensive element in any structure. All what we did is that we used two systems, the vault and the dome. To be able to build the vault, we gathered some local wood, cut it in a certain profile, laid the blocks, took out the wood, and we have the ceiling ready for us. Then we moved on to another aspect of the ceiling, which is the dome. What I did is I started laying some bricks in front of the team, and actually an 18-year-old boy who's called Hussein managed to finish it in less than a day. Moving on to the more complicated dome that we had, I want to say here that during the entire structure, we did not use any mechanical means. We did not use any machine. It is only simple tools. All what we needed to do is to use our hand, our heads, and our hearts. And it worked. By the time we reached the stage of trying to resolve some heating problems, all what we did is we introduced or reintroduced the fireplace system, and we introduced two water compartments next to it to transfer all the heat to the rest of the structure. By the time we reached this stage, people started realizing what they were engaged at, and they started appreciating more. Now, of course, when we reached the finishing stage, the entire village were more interested to know. And the first impression that they had, it felt so strange, yet so fresh and so familiar because it spoke to their collective memory. They know what the vault is, they know what the dome is, but they haven't used it for a long time. So we moved on, we introduced them in to see the winter courtyard that worked perfectly in the winter, the summer courtyard that they managed to sit, enjoy the shade, enjoy the fountain, enjoying some summer nights around it. And the moment they went in, they realized what exactly is happening because we didn't do any interior job. All what the form and the shape of the structure dictated the space. All what we needed to do, some plastering, some flooring, some woodwork, and we have the space finished and ready for using. This is the main living room, which is spacious, lovely, and very simple. Now, shortly before Osama and his family moved into the house, his calling were answered, and he finally had his baby boy. What I want to say, actually, is that the extended family, all the way from Safuh, which is the 7-year-old boy here, all the way to Abu Muhammad, participated in the construction. And they actually felt the need that all the family has to be there. What I want to say at the end of this story is that to be able to empower or to improve rural conditions, you cannot just buy or import the solution. And the new does not necessarily imply progress. I came to realize, and I actually firmly believe, that the only solution for such problem is to empower people, empower the local, is actually to restore their faith and their pride in their timeless tradition and local culture. Thank you very much.